Good morning, welcome. So, this is a restorative yoga practice, around about 25 minutes. In fact, it's in three sections of some time on your back, and then about 8 minutes kneeling, and then another 6 or 7 minutes seated. So, you could do all three, or you could just do one section at a time if your time is limited. It's specifically designed to help with any menstrual cramping, so the period pains or anything like that. And so yeah, we're designing it. This session is to help ease that. So let's get started. We'll take some time to just to relax a little bit. So come on down onto your back. Find it. Maybe bring the knees together and the feet wide. Just to use the weight of the knee onto each other, just to support that, so no effort required. And bringing your hands to your belly, maybe we're rubbing your hands together and creating some warmth in the hands before you place them on the belly. Tucking the chin under and getting some length through the back of the neck. Just easing things out to start with. See if you can find that deep belly breathing. And let's start by relaxing the face muscles. Maybe squeeze the eyes really tightly closed and then relax. Same with the jaw. And then stretch the toes wide and relax the feet as well. You may not feel like you're in the best place to stretch through the body, but if we take a little bit of time to relax, then anything is possible. Nice big breaths. Relaxing through the shoulders. Now let's straighten the legs out and we'll do some overhead stretches. So bringing the hands down by the hips, and as you inhale, stretching up overhead and pointing through the toes, and as you exhale, flexing the feet, lifting the heels off the floor, bringing the hands back beside the hips. Maybe 3 to 5 of these in your own time. Just starting to stretch it out a little bit. Nice big breaths. Coordinated with the movement. Inhale overhead and exhale stretching. Now, and one more time. Inhale and exhale. Just take a moment just to recover a little bit, shake it out a bit. And we'll come into the first pose, which is banana pose. So when you're ready, walking your feet over to the right hand side, keeping the heels, both heels on the floor. And both hips on the floor. Stretch the arms overhead and grab the left wrist with the right hand, bringing the elbows to the floor and hands to the floor if you can, and feeling the stretch down the left hand side of the body, squeezing into the right side. So it's a restorative exercise. We don't want to go too crazy. Just, maybe 6 out of 10 for effort. But feeling that stretch down the left side from left ankle to left wrist. And then walk your hands back, feet back to the center, relax. Just take a moment, take a breath in and a big breath out. Feel the difference between that left side and right side. And then when you're ready, walking the feet over to the left, raise the arms overhead, grab the right wrist with the left hand and stretch out through the right side of the body now. Again, shoulders to floor, hips to floor, feet are on the floor. Head is neutral, looking up, keeping your eyes closed if you want to. And breathing in and out through the nose. And come back to neutral. Bring your hands back onto your belly and just take a moment just to feel how that one stretch out has started to move things around energetically for you. We're going slow and steady today, being very gentle and kind to ourselves. Now let's come into half happy baby. So bending the knees, feet on the floor, raise the right leg and reach with the right hand to the inside of this foot. So we're bringing the knee out to the side as if it was tucking underneath the armpit. So we're not squeezing the belly, we're coming to the side of the belly today. No need to squeeze into that belly. Just bringing the leg up and feel the thigh onto the side, the right side of the body. Keeping the left foot on the floor, keeping both hips on the floor. If that's not possible to reach the foot, then using maybe a belt or a towel. And then coming back to neutral, dropping the knees together again into that nice calming position, that knock-kneed position. And then swapping over, reaching the left leg up, grabbing the instep with the left hand, and just bringing it gently down, thigh onto the side, left side of the body, into the digestive area. You can bring your other hand onto your belly, just to keep it warm. Slow, deep breaths. And then come back to that knock-kneed position. So that's our resting position each time today. And then now make your way up. We're going to come onto hands and knees. So coming into tabletop, hips over knees, shoulders over wrists, knees hip width apart. Eye gaze directly down to the mat, neutral position. And now walk the hands forward and we're going to come into puppy pose. So walk the hands forward and bring forehead to floor. Keep the hips over the knees. Slight engagement in the belly to protect the lower back. Feeling the stretch from the wrists up through the arms, under the armpits and down through the body, through the chest area. Opening up the upper body now. It's very easy when we start to cramp to bring everything into tightness. So let's see if we can ease out some of that tightness that's coming, seeping through the whole body. Right. Close the eyes. Now come on back up. We'll come into thread the needle next. So I'm going to bring the right arm through, shoulder to floor, right ear to floor. And if it's comfortable on the neck, then we can bring the left arm up and over, placing the hand on the back of the lower back. See how it goes for you today. You may need a cushion, but feel a stretch now in the right shoulder. Nice long breaths, long slow breaths. Now if you've got the arm up, bring it back down and come back to neutral, come back to that tabletop position. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, and then slide the left hand through and to thread the needle on the left side. Settle into it, palm is facing up, and drop the hand down the back. And again, check that the hips are still over the knees, and also check in that you're not curling up the toes. We often start when we're cramping through the body to get tighter through the feet as well, so make sure the toes are stretched out nice and the feet are nice and stretched out. around the left shoulder and also in the left side of the neck. And then when you're ready, come on back up. Take a moment again in tabletop. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth to relax. And let's come into extended child's pose. So bring the knees wide, toes together, and then drop the hips back. Bring the hands way out in front and forehead to floor. If the forehead doesn't go to the floor, then maybe stack the hands so that you can bring the forehead to the hands. Today we're not doing anything that's got forward folds in it where the belly is resting on the thighs. We don't need that. We've got them out to the side in each of these poses, allowing the stretching to go through without pushing everything in unnecessarily. So it's very gentle practice. Now walking the hands over to the right hand side, and we'll get a little bit of a side stretch. So feel a stretch now through the left wrist to the left hip. Forehead to floor if you can. Nice long breaths. One more breath here. And then come back to center. And then walk the hands over to the left hand side, now stretching through the right side. Keep pushing the hips back towards the heels. If there's any pain in the knee, then come on out. This is not necessary. Just come into a seated position in preference, or come back to tabletop. Come on back up. Tuck the toes under, and we're going to come into Thunderbolt. Knees back to floor, and then sitting back. Again, if it's sharp pain in the knees, then come on out. But if it's not, then this is a deep stretch, a real stimulation, a bit of reflexology for your feet. And you can bring your hands into eagle pose, starting with the left crossed over the right. It's always a question of whether it hurts more in the feet or the elbows at this point, or arms, shoulders. Big stretch out for the shoulders. Shake it out. Shake out the feet as well. And maybe counter that with a flat feet, leaning back, fingertips facing forward and dropping the head, feeling the stretch through the front of the throat, but also through the arms, squeezing into the calf muscles, stimulating that area. Maybe a big stretch through the quads. And now come back, let's do Thunderbolt second round. So tucking the toes under, making sure all the toes are tucked under, and this time right arm over left, coming into eagle arms if that's comfortable on your shoulders and neck. 5 big breaths here. And one last breath. And we're going to come into saddle. So toes together, knees wide, dropping the hands back, similar to what we were just doing. Arms straight, and dropping the head back. Huge big breaths here, releasing all the tension that's being carried in the legs. And come on back up. Take your time, just sitting comfortably and letting all of that integrate itself. Notice how you're feeling now. And when you're ready, we're going to come into a seated position. So take a moment to come into a nice comfortable seated position, and then we'll come into butterfly. Maybe use a cushion if you want to raise the hips a little higher to make this a little bit more comfortable. But soles of the feet together, knees drop wide, and then just leaning forward. Two choices, either to look forward, deepen the stretch, or just to drop the head down and feel a stretch through the spine. Let gravity do the job. You don't have to push the knees down. Just let it gently open in its own time. Eyes can close, or the eyes can eye gaze, not looking at anything in particular. Time to go inwards. Great, come on back out. Just shake out the legs. Now I'm going to come into cow face. So bring the left leg in under the right, and then the right on top. Feel a stretch through the outside of the hip now, and just holding on to that right leg. So deep stretching through ITB, up through the hips, external hips. Think about sitting taller, tucking the chin in and lifting up through the spine rather than deepening the stretch with the legs. It's work with the upper body rather than the lower body. And take a deep breath as you come out of that. There's a big release as we do that. Now slide the right leg through, left leg on top. We're trying to stack the knees on top of each other in the midline. Feet are at the point of the knees, not back beside the hips, so slightly forward. And sitting tall. Pushing the left hip down, both hips are on the floor. As I say, if you've got tight hips, then a cushion is a really good idea at this point. And maybe 3 to 5 breaths here. It can be very, very intense. And give it a good old shake out. Let's come into Firelog if this is comfortable. We're going to stack right leg on lower leg on top of the left leg, holding on to the right knee and the right foot. Many of these poses I have instructions on other videos, so feel free to check those out if you're not sure of exactly how these poses work. And check it out, come to the other side, so this time right foot under left knee and left leg on top. Sitting both hips to the floor. Relaxing the face and relaxing the jaw. In Firelog pose, it's really good opportunity to relax through the jaw area. Nice big breaths. And lean back to come on out. Give it a shake out. Okay, we have one last pose. Rock a baby. So bringing the right foot into the left elbow and rocking through, trying to keep the left hip as still as you can. As I look back and reflect on this practice, I can't believe how many poses have got baby as part of their story. Maybe there is more to this than we think there is. So we had, what did we have? Half happy baby, extended child's pose, and now we've got rock a baby. I think that's telling a very big story. And then swapping over to the left hand side, doing the same, helping to open up through that hip area. And relax and shake it out. Just come now into a comfortable seated position, or if you want to, go back to that lying down with the knees together, whatever works for you. Just taking a moment to notice how you feel after this practice, how the body is, how much more, I think open is the right word, not so cramped up, not so intense. It doesn't have to be this part of your cycle. This is a really great practice for any time, any place, when you want to restore energy to your system, but specifically focusing on the first and second chakras. And thank you very much for practicing with me. Namaste.